Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. Happy Monday to you. Quick look at Solana. What do you know? Hanging out exactly at 203, that specific key level resistance / support level. So we're going to talk about how important that is, of course. Discuss this liquidation range that has been fully swept. Lower level still left remaining. Keep that in mind. And then, of course, too, quick congrats to our committee here for, well, amazing stuff here. First of all, Premium Plus bot, killing it lately. We did take some nice profits here. We closed our XRP and Ondo trades slightly in profit to kind of get out of those early just to be safe. Litecoin, on the other hand, is kicking butt. Radium and Solana and Cardano, we shorted those over the weekend. So those are still in profit, good trades there. But the general consensus here is that, Solana is, it's performing as expected as far as, the consistency of pulling back pretty hard, but also pumping pretty decently as well. So the truth here is, based on a liquidation standpoint, we are probably more likely to go up than down in the short term. Just know we got a lot of resistance between 210 and 220, okay? So we'll look at that here in a moment. I want to quickly note this as well too, because a lot of people are asking. With my Premium Plus bot, it is fully automated now. So just keep in mind you can have some passive income if you decide you want to use it. In 1 week's worth of beta testing this new strategy, we're $300 in profit on $50 per trade. So again, decent results. I want to have a good month or two's worth of data here before we go, go balls to the wall, so to speak. But generally speaking here, it's a pretty consistent, trading tool that is very helpful as long as you use the specific strategy within Cornix. It has a specific take profit strategy. I've been working on it for months, and I feel like it's coming alive now. So great stuff there. Let's take a look at the back-end liquidation data first, kind of see what's up, and then kind of go from there. So again, we know 210 to about 215 with a little bit at 220 is essentially that upper range of liquidation. So hypothetically, if you take it long right now, make sure you secure profits in the 210 to 215 range, because we don't know how much further higher that's going to go. Keep in mind, most altcoins are suffering right now because Bitcoin's under 100,000. The fear is too high right now for altcoins to be able to really truly break out. We're seeing some outliers, Litecoin, of course, one of the trades that we took a little early. And then, of course, I think SCY responded quite nicely. I'll cover that next. But there's a lot of, for the most part, the market's kind of like indecisive while we're under 100,000. I've just noticed every time we get close, there's these little pumps and then they just get instantly rejected. So heads up on that. Anyways, that's concurrent here with a 220 mark. I feel a 220 is roughly 100,000 for Bitcoin as far as key level resistances are concerned. So having said that, what we're looking at here with liquidation delta, it's more bullish than bearish, but you can see it's wavering a lot, right? Over the weekend was some choppy behavior, not the greatest trading conditions in my personal opinion. In fact, the last 5 weeks has been just complete trash. But again, you deal with what you got, and we can't choose the market that we're in. We can only pick and choose our risk tolerance and make sure we're not taking too high of risk trades, right? So that's the whole concept here with Solana, is to minimize your risk. So the key takeaway is that we have a lot of resistance at 208. So that's going to be a resistance for us here, and then alternative to that, 216. And again, these aren't resistances per se. They just know that there's a lot of open interest there, heavy positions at those levels. And in turn, there's going to be exit liquidity when the price comes up to that range. You can already kind of see it right here. Price comes up, rejects off 208. Okay, so just again, pretty consistent stuff there. That's why we look at points of control and open interest to kind of understand those hidden, if you will. I don't even like to use the word hidden, but they're basically like key level resistances and supports that aren't displayed on the charts in most cases. Now, points of control can be, that's what this is here, the volume range visible profile. It's VRVP if you're curious as to what it is. It's a really good indicator, kind of letting you know, where the highest amount of positions in the last range here. So whatever range you zoom into, 198 is that level. That reinforces support below us too, though, okay? Again, just because we have resistance above doesn't mean we're going to drop. But at this point here, if we can hold that level, say we come back to retest that may be a decent consideration for a low leverage, low risk long, right? And I say low risk because of low leverage, not because taking a long into a descending trend line is a good idea. The trend right now is still bearish. We're under the 50 and the 20-day SMA on the daily. We'll confirm that on the 4-hour, but generally speaking, we're not in position right now to really warrant a long position. You look here, We're under 50 on the RSI. While money flow index is increasing, that's that natural pivot as I've talked about previously. We were tentatively bottomed out. We're not in a position right now where you can take, again, a confident long position. At least not one that goes to the, so to speak, moon, as others would say, right? I try not to use that word because it's just, I think it's a very terrible description of how things go. But generally speaking, Solana is a far ways away from that. Most coins are. Again, under the impression we stay sub 100,000 for Bitcoin. Now, again, we maintained 100,000 or like 90 to 100,000 range for a while, like we've seen previously, when we were stuck in between 60 and 74K. Then we might actually start to see some altcoins come alive. But for right now, it's still a little too early, in my personal opinion. There's nothing here that makes me feel confident in taking long. 4-hour time frame may change that though, because again, 4-hour time frames, you need 6 4-hour candles to make a daily candle, right? You have really good 4-hour candles that will change that dynamic on the daily. So we look here on the 4-hour, we're over 50 on the RSI. Not a lot of coins can say that right now. In fact, Bitcoin is trying, but it's not quite there yet. Okay, see, it keeps wavering above and below. Now again, why that's relevant is just kind of letting us know that the impression here is that this coin is worth buying because people are starting to realize it's a good value, right? It's kind of more of a mindset thing here for the relative strength. And that kind of just indicates that, we're above the key level resistance there. We're right there at 203. Well, 203 and some change. So if we are closing above 200, more importantly 203, then that might be an indication that a long is viable. But again, a lot of that hinges on Bitcoin too, because Bitcoin really feels pretty weak right now and certainly wants to pull back, and it has some pretty low volume too. Again, we want to pay attention to volume. While volume's slightly higher today, that's not a really good barometer based on just how crazy and weird the weekend was. Okay, so for the most part, stochastic swinging down, MACD starting to lose its momentum. Unless we break out soon, there's no reason to consider the price action is going to go much further. Now, keep in mind, too, we are seeing a nice little ascending trend here. Okay, so it's not all doom and gloom. We're over the 20-day SMA as well here. You can actually draw out, trend lines concurrent with that. You can kind of see that we're looking pretty decent in that regard. So, we break this descending trend, different story. But with us being over 50 on the RSI, that's positive, too. So, again, we got some consolations here, but I don't know. I never try to trade on consolation. These are things that are, all nice and maybe help you feel warm and fuzzy inside. But if Bitcoin continues to pull back like it feels like it's going to, none of this matters, right? So why take a high risk long? Again, we're seeing some good confirming factors on the 4-hour time frame. There's slightly more positive than negative here. But again, that's just you're reaching if that's what you're looking for, because when you're analyzing the charts, folks, you need to make sure that you're not convincing yourself to take a trade. You should be convincing yourself not to take a trade. That's generally how it's supposed to work. You've probably heard me say that before, or maybe it's a foreign concept to you now. That's okay. But generally speaking, when I look at these charts here, I look at a good 15 to 20 a day on average. I can tell you that I'm constantly looking for reasons not to trade. And that may seem upside down to you, but the truth is the success rate goes up when you do that, because then you're more likely to find quality over quantity. Okay, so again, different strategies here, of course, but we'll update our playout chart. I'll post this on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Hourly time frame, just to clarify, is looking pretty bad here. The lagging span's now within the price section, while we're above the cloud and the conversion line's over the baseline. These are some mostly positive things here. It's still kind of a reach because we haven't broken that descending trend. So again, we need a solid closure above 203 or higher at the very least today. And I would say Bitcoin needs to close 97 to 98K or higher too. Again, a lot of conditions that need to be met, and we're just not there yet. Okay, super close, don't get me wrong. And again, I'm glad that a lot of the profits worked out this weekend in both directions. It's kind of a janky weekend, but at this point here, take a breath. It's okay to relax and calm down, and maybe consider just setting the auto trade on pilot, or autopilot on auto trading. It's hard for me to say that, but I'm simply referring to the plus trades here. They've been pretty consistent with the growth there. Anyways, congrats again to everyone. I hope you'll have a good rest of your day. Thanks so much again for your time. We'll look forward to working with you if you want to become a better trader. CryptoCash.tech is a site link down below. For right now, if you're going to insist on a long position, which I understand from a smaller time frame perspective, looking decent, just make sure you use low volume, or more importantly, a smaller position size and/or a low leverage, just to ensure if it turns around on you, you're not going to have a really bad day. Okay, the market's just really upside down right now. It's difficult. Cool. All right, folks. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.